Hello guys, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Runo. I'm the creative director of La Ruby Clothiers. I'll be showing you how to cut this flay dress with side seam pocket and a shoulder dart bustier. So if this is what you want to learn, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a comment and give us a thumbs up. I also have a tutorial on how to cut this flutter coat shoulder sleeve and a ruffle turtleneck. So you should subscribe so you won't miss out when we post any of our tutorial. Thank you for joining me. So guys, this is my bodice block already drafted. This is the CD and this is the center front. So now if you have your bodies drafted already, so you are good to go. But if you don't, you can check my channel, you can check the description, you'll find a link on how to draft your basic block. Okay, from my shoulder to my underbust, I have about 13.5. So same as the back also. I measured my shoulder to my underbust. So now we want to get an underbust contour. So what we need to do is to subtract my pattern underbust. Whatever I have, I'll subtract it from my body, my main body underbust. So whichever one is much, that is what I'll be subtracting it from. So I'll start from the back. So I'm measuring without the dart. So I'm measuring leaving the dart line. Okay, so I'll measure from here, continue from here. So I have 8. I have 7, 8, so almost 8. So I'll come over to my back. I'll continue from my center back here, and then I'll continue mark here, stop here, and then continue from here, and then I'll end here. So I have 15.5. My own, for my measurement, my round under bust is 30. So this 30 divide by 2. I'll divide by 2 will give me 15. So the 15, I'll subtract the 15 from my 15.5. 15 minus 15.5 will give me what? 0.5. That's half inch. So I'll have half inch left. So the half inch I have left is what I will use to create my under bust. Okay. So for some people, if you happen to measure your own and you don't have anything left, you can just do 0.5, 0. That's half inch on both sides. So I have half inch. So what I'll be doing is 1/4, that's to 8 to 8. I'll be placing to 8 here, to 8 here, but I won't do that. I'll be using half an inch. Okay, so I'll use half an inch, which is still okay. So I'm using half an inch on both sides. Okay, so now I'll connect from my bust point now to this half an inch. So from this bust point now, I'll connect. I'm using my French curve to this half inch. So you can see, and I'll come over to this part also. I'll connect. I'm trying to create my underbust contour. Okay, and then I'll use my long ruler. I'll connect it back to my waistline. I'll connect it back to my waistline here. Okay, so I already have my underbust contour. So coming in on my shoulder, so my shoulder sleeve, I have 3 inches on my shoulder here. I want to use 3 inches, sorry. My shoulder sleeve will be like 3 inches here, and then I'll mark 3 inches. I'm using 3 inches, so you feel free to come in as much as you want. So I don't want my shoulder, I want my shoulder to be a bit smaller. Okay, so I'll connect this from my shoulder here to my armhole, trying to create an altar so you can see my, and then I'll do the same thing. I'll measure 3 inches. So my shoulder for this dress is 3 inches, so I'll measure 3 inches also for my back, and then I'll connect it back to my armhole. Now, so this part is going out, this part is going out, so this is not my body. So because it's a shoulder bustier, so I will divide my shoulder into 2. So this is my shoulder. I'll measure what I have. My shoulder is about 3 inches, and then I'll divide it into 2, 1.5 on both sides. So I'll connect 1.5. So this is my shoulder. So what I will need to do now is to close this dart and then open up the side. So I'll be cutting. So this is it about our shoulder. The back, I'm also coming in to avoid any bit of any type of bulge at all. So I'm coming in 0.5 inch. So you can replace this on your side. So let me replace it for So what I took out here, I already have it here. I'll close this that and then open this part. So let me open this part first. Here I'm cutting it to. So this is my shoulder. Remember, I've not added seam allowance. Okay. And then you cut this part also. And then our neckline, shoulder, neckline. So this is what we have now. So we'll be adding seam allowance. So the back, I'm not doing a shoulder that, so I will just sew my waist that. Okay, but if you want to do a shoulder that, you can just do the seam connect and then sew, but I won't be doing that. Okay, so I will just go ahead and cut. This is it. So this is the back, this is the back, and this is the front. So we'll add seam allowance and then I'll cut. So I'll place this on my fabric and I'll cut. So before cutting, I will want to cut my down part, the flay. Right, cutting the flay now. So I'll be cutting 180-degree flay in two places to make it 360. So the full flay will be 360, but I'm not cutting 360 at once. I'm cutting it in two places. That's 180-degree plus 180-degree. That's because it will have side seam pocket. So this is the formula. Now to cut now your 360-degree flay, the formula to cut 360 is 6.28. So 180-degree flay is 3.14. That's half of this 360 is 180, so that's why you have 1.14. So now my waist, for the waist I want to cut is 30 inches. So 30 plus 1 inch seam allowance will give me 31. So this 31 divide by 2. Now because I'm not cutting it one, if I was cutting one full 360 degree, I would just divide my 31 divide by 6.28. But because I'm cutting these two into two places, so I'm dividing my waist into two, front and back. So waist 31 divided by 2, that's front and back, will give me 15.5. Will give me 15.5. So it is this 15.5 now that I will be cutting 15.2, 15.5, 15.5 in two places. So now this 15.5 now is what I'll be using I'll use this formula to get my 15.5 so that I can get my waist, my radius. So to get my radius now, this 15.5, this is half of my waist. Let's say the front of my waist now. Front of my waist is 15.5, while the back of my waist is also 15.5. So this 15.5 now divide by this, because I'm cutting 180 degree, divide by 3.14 will give me 4.9. So my radius will be 4.9. So I'll be cutting 4.9 out. So that is just the radius. I've not added the length. So now my radius, to get the full fold, what I'll be folding on my fabric is your radius plus your length. So now my radius is, this is my radius, 4.9, and my length, this is 4.9, and my length is 26. This 26 now, I added 1.5. 1.5 is the waist seam allowance, and then the 0.5 half inches for the waist seam allowance, while the 1 inch is for the hemming of the down part of the dress. So that's I added 1.5. So this, my length is 26. 26 plus 1.5 will give me 27.5. Okay, so it is this 27.5 plus this now will give me this 32.4. So what I will do now, what I need this 32.4 for is to fold. So I'll be folding my fabric 32.4. So I'll fold my fabric 32.4. So I have 31 here. So I'll fold it again. So I don't just cut what will not be enough. Okay, so that is why you need all this long calculation. If you follow it gently, you'll get it. It's not that difficult. Okay, this is my 33. This is my 33 here. So I'll make sure this other side, the down part, is also 33. This is it. So what I'll do now is to cut out my radius. My radius is what? 4.9. So I'll measure 4.9 from the edge here. I'll measure 4.9 here, and then I'll measure here. So this is my radius. So from here also, from this length here, before after marking my radius, so I'll mark my 32.4. so I will be making it 32.5. So from this part here, I'll measure my 32.5. So this is my 32.5 here. I'll measure 32.5 also here. I'll connect it, and then I'll come here. I'll measure 32.5. I'll connect. So I will do this round 32.5. I'll connect. I've marked it with chalk. So this is it, 32.5, and then this is my radius. So I'll be cutting this out. So I'll be adding side seam pocket. That is why I'm cutting them one after the other. I don't want any joining around the hem. If I was to cut it one full one, I may likely have joining around the hem. So I'll first of all start from here. I'll cut. Yes. So this is my center full front. So I'll notch this part now. So I'll fold my fabric same way, and I will place this one, and I will cut it out the front. And then I folded another fabric to get the back. So this is the back. Remember the 1 inch we added on our measurements. The 1 inch is for the side, is the joining. So we'll use the 1 inch to join the side. You can see the side here. So everything aligned. And what I did, I used my needle, my pin, to pin it down so it doesn't move. So you can see the seam allowance here. This is the back and this is the front. So I'll cut the waist also, and I'll notch my zip allowance. So this will be my zip allowance. Okay. So the back will have 2 slash. So you'll be slashing it by the side and at the center back also. Unlike the front that only has side slash. So I'll slash this part now. This is my center back because there'll be zip here. So I'll slash it open. So guys, this is it after cutting. So if you'll be using lining, use this same piece to cut your lining. So this is the front and this is the back. So to sew the front, like you are to open, you open like this. So this is the right side and this is the wrong side, and you sew on the wrong side. I'm sure you know how to do that. So you sew, join this side together, and you join this side using you'll be sewing on the wrong side. Okay, back, this is my dart. I'll be sewing my dart. I already opened my dart point here. So I'll put my needle, my pin, and then I'll bring it, pin it, and then chalk it at the other side. So I'll be able to sew both sides. So this is the dart leg. So I can notch this part a little, and then I'll notch here a little. So this is it for the upper part, and then for the back, you sew your dart, and then you join your back and your front together. So that will be all for now. So I'll be showing you how to cut the pocket. So the pocket for this dress into 2, we're cutting into 4 places. So if you can fold into 4, fine, but if you can't, you can fold 2 and then you fold again. So I got 4. So this is how you place your pocket. So that your hand will be able to go in, you place, and then you get this side. So this is my side, and then I'll place it like this. You can see that it's slant. It's not straight. It's not straight like this. It's not facing up. It's facing down, and it's slanting. So this is how you go. So can you see? So you can see my pocket facing down. So that when I put my hand, it's going to come down. So now I'll be adding seam allowance. Make sure your fabric is well folded. My seam allowance, my sewing allowance, or whatever you know it to be. So I'll notch this part here. This is where my pocket end. I'm notching it, and then I'll notch this part also. So you can be sewing 1/2 inch. So you won't be adding this your 1/2 inch. So you can come down 2 inches or 3 inches as you desire. So I'll be doing 2.5 here. So this is where my pocket is going. You can see. So when you are sewing your pocket, this is how your pocket should look like. So You can see this part that is notched, so this is where my pocket is going to sit. So I'll notch this part. So when I'm sewing, I know that my pocket is going to start from here. Okay, so I'll notch this part now. So my pocket will start from here. So I'll make sure the 4. So you can see the 4 on both sides. Okay, so now we want to sew the pocket. We want to attach the pocket to the down part. That's the flare. So remember, we notched where the pocket is going to start from. So this is my full front. This is my full front. So I'll grab 2 of this pocket. So 2 will be for the front, and then 2 will be for the back. So for you not to be confused, you can mark the wrong side so you will know which part is the wrong side. Since this is the wrong side, now you pick one, you place it. You can see this part that is notched, you place it. So now the wrong side should be facing the right side, should be facing the right side of your fabric. So you can see this is the right side of my fabric, and then this is the right side of my pocket. So I'll place it like this notch part, I'll place it like this, and then I will sew. So you can see how it is. You can see that the pocket is facing down. This is the down part. Okay, so now because this is a flare dress, this part here is flare. Now if you are sewing a straight dress, like a straight a pencil or a straight, and then you want to put this pocket, now whatever seam allowance you add to your main bodies, to the down part, your skirt, that is what you add to your pocket. For instance, if I added 1 inch allowance, that's if my waist measurement is going to start from here. If this is my seam allowance, so my pocket I also add the 1 inch allowance. So when I want to sew, I know I'm sewing from here, so I will start sewing from my 1 inch. So this is just a bonus for you. So you don't add 1 inch allowance and then you sew ½ inch on your pocket. If you do that, it's going to be funny by the time you start joining it. So whatever you add to your seam allowance, so most times it's always ½ inch, maximum 1 inch. So but if I had added 1 inch allowance, so I will start sewing from 1 inch here. Okay, so I'll back stitch and then I'll cut the thread. So what you can do is to top stitch if you like. So if you are top stitching, make sure you are top stitching on this part of, so you flip your seam allowance to your pocket, and then you can sew it closely. You pick this other side, and then you get your pocket, and then you pin it. You can see the seam allowance, the part I notch, I'll match it up. I will sew and then I will top stitch. So I will do the same thing to the back. So for the back, I closed the zip allowance because I'm not attaching the zip yet. So you do the same thing, you open it up. You can close the zip so you don't make mistake. You open and then you get you can also mark the wrong side. Okay, this is already marked already. So this is the right side, remember, right side facing right side. So you put it down, you pin, make sure the part you notch is matching up, and then you sew. So this is the back part. I'm done sewing, and this is the zip. You can see both pockets. So you can see the part I notched, this part I notched. I'm going to sew. Make sure both of them are matching together. You can see they are both together. So I'll back stitch here where I notch. So this is where I'm going to stop, and then I'll pick it up. I'll raise my machine up and then my needle, and then I'll continue from this side now to join the pockets together.
You see, I'm going to stop here. I'll stop, then I'll lift my needle up, then I'll back stitch again, then I'll continue down. You can see our pocket. Is hidden inside, so I'll do the same to this side, and then after which I'll repeat the same thing to this side, after which I'll open my zip and then I'll attach it to the upper part. So you can see after pinning now, I don't want any pleat, I just want my waist to be smooth, right? So you can see what I have here now. So I will sew this down, and then I'll on the back part also, the back side, I will do the same thing. So this is the upper, then this is the down. So I'll match the zip allowance and then I will sew it down. So you can see that everything now is equal. So I will sew and then sew this part, connect it to this part. When you do this, it's easy for you to adjust. So once you are done with this, it is to fix your zip. Okay, so follow my zip allowance, the crease line. I already ironed it, so I'll fix my zip down. So because I'll be doing something to the neckline, okay, I'll be doing a ruffle, a turtleneck ruffle around the neck, and then the sleeve will also have a ruffle. So the same way, now this dress has a lining, so the same way you attach the down part, that is how you're going to attach the lining. So the line is going to be dropping. For the hem now, so how to finish your hem down, 2 ways. Once you overlock it first, then you fold it once. Okay, so that's what I like doing. If you don't have an overlocking machine, so this is what you can do. You can fold it at first a little tiny, so just for you to have a neat hem. Okay, you know one thing with this circle, if you decide to fold it twice like this, you'll run into trouble. It will never be smooth. As you proceed, you discover that some parts will be awkward. It will be very funny. So what you need to do, if you don't have an overlocking machine, or you don't have the time to overlock, just fold it at once. You fold it towards the wrong side a little, and then you sew round. You sew it round like this, just once at first, and then after sewing it round, then you can now come back and then fold again a second time. So that way it will be very neat. So it's more like you folding twice, but you are doing it at 2 different times. Okay, so thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on the floater sleeve coat shoulder turtleneck tutorial.